Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillion. Thank you for joining me as we explore chapter 165 of the We Never Learn manga series. And we can now tick off one of my desires for the Furuhashi Fumino route, and that of course being character development from Narayuki Yuiga in the form of a love confession. And I personally did like the way that they handled the love confession kind of segment from last week's chapter in this week's chapter, because it kind of sets up the fact that Narayuki has this path that he can now go down and head towards. And this path that he will go down will lead to happiness and love, being at the end Fumino herself. Sounds cheesy, right? Well, I would completely agree with you. Nevertheless, it still was a great thing to see. Now, to her credit though, Uraka took the rejection rather well. And some people might even consider or misinterpret her kind of having very weak feelings towards Narayuki. But one thing is very clear, and we can take away from this kind of segment, is the fact that Fumino did not hear the results of the confession. She was quite close. I think the wall that she was hiding behind wasn't that far away. But in this chapter, that being 156, we realised that she didn't actually know the results, because she still thinks that Uraka and Narayuki are going well together and that they're kind of a thing, which obviously isn't the case. But then again, who could blame Furuhashi for not hearing the results? Because she was a complete mess, and probably she convinced herself that the outcome was going to be in Uraka's favour, meaning that she had been defeated. That's one thing that kind of stuck in my mind throughout this chapter, was the word defeat, or defeated. It's very apparent that that's what Furuhashi thinks at the moment. She feels like that Narayuki has gotten out of her grasp because of Uraka's confession, and this obviously is a big misunderstanding, but the chapter plays it off and it makes it really well and kind of helps develop both characters at the same time. However, that being said, if I'm being perfectly honest, I kind of would like another scene or a few panels with Narayuki and Uraka together in when Narayuki asks Uraka for some advice in expressing one's own feelings. Because Yuiga stated in this chapter and in the kind of confession that he really respects Uraka for the fact that she managed to express herself so openly to him. And it's apparent and stated that Narayuki himself, he's having his difficulties kind of expressing his own feelings to the person he wants to express them to. So I think both characters would benefit and gain something from an interaction like this in a future chapter. Narayuki would of course gain some more kind of development, and Uraka can take that supportive friend role that Fumino took back in the Uraka route. And I think that's the way that they're going to handle Uraka's character moving forward. She's going to be a character that's expressed herself enough to us as the audience, but she's going to be supportive of her friend because at the end of the day, she just wants him to be happy. And I think that suits her quite nicely. And another way that we can tie this idea back into, Narayuki asking for help would be looking at the last few panels. It's very clear that Narayuki is in some pain and discomfort because he just can't find a way to tell the one person that he wants how he truly feels about them. So someone is going to have to help Narayuki find some courage, confidence, and to help him express himself. And who better to do that than someone who's literally just done it to him a few chapters ago? That, of course, being Uraka herself. Would she do that? I think is in a character that she would. And I think if they do that in the next kind of couple of chapters, it would play out very nicely and it would do positive things for all three characters. The fact that the snowboarding trip is the main kind of focus and the kind of being used in this chapter, or reused I should say, and being tweaked a little bit, I kind of liked it. The chapter flowed quite nicely and it served its purpose rather well. The purpose, of course, getting Fumino and Yuiga into a situation in where they're both together alone and trying to get the point of some character building in sort of that romantic kind of aspect, while at the same time portraying Furuhashi's misunderstanding and thought process. I thought they handled this very well. The focus was very clear and very kind of to the point, and I think it worked quite effectively. Yuiga using that I have a friend trope was kind of funny, as we've seen both Uraka and Rizu use the same thing with Furuhashi before, so of course we know that she's never going to buy that. And This is obviously where we see more insight into Furuhashi's kind of thought process though, because again, it's that misunderstanding that she thinks that Narayuki and Uraka are together. So she's like, oh, he's thinking of Uraka. Well, I'm actually not going to help him out. And I'm not going to make it sound like I'm jealous or anything, but I wouldn't call it jealousy. But she's not helping him out because she doesn't want to involve herself, because she knows it'll only cause her more pain. And I find that to be great storytelling, because Furuhashi's character is one that's always been helpful. She's always been up and ready and jolly to help her friends whenever they need her help. And to kind of go to this point where Fumino is just like, we gotta go our separate ways after this. She doesn't want to help. She's finally doing something for herself, although it's kind of the wrong thing as what us as fans really want her to do. That being said though, I wouldn't be surprised that Azumi would use that I have a friend trope in her own route when it finally comes around. I think that'd be pretty funny too. However, everything that I've said before is all well and good, but something does need to happen so that Furuhashi can snap out of her sense of defeat. Again, that's one thing I've said in this review, is that the word defeat or defeated is very apparent to Furuhashi's character at the moment. That's how her mindset is set and that's how she feels. She feels like she's already lost to Uraka and has made up her own feelings and mind towards Yuiga, and, she's trying to say we need to part ways again to try and save herself some suffering and some pain. Quite sad when you think about it, really. But personally speaking, I would like one of two things to happen in the upcoming chapters. Number one, she finally stops feeling sorry for herself and just lets all of her emotions out at once. And basically states to Narayuki, I don't care if you're with Uraka, I don't care if you're with somebody else, you could be with anybody you like, but I need to tell you this right now. And she just completely unloads her feelings onto him. I'm glad I said feelings then, because that would have been a bit awkward. But, she needs to kind of get out of this kind of the slump at the moment. And that's one thing I really think we are going to see. But heck, I think even seeing her boost of encouragement coming from her dad, considering the rocky relationship those two have, I think it would be pretty cool. And again, it would build up both characters, her dad and herself. Pretty cool. The other thing I'd like to see though, however, would also tie into the stars and what Furuhashi is currently studying. And this obviously comes from Narayuki's perspective. So, Narayuki has problems expressing himself and stating how he feels. We know that from this chapter. That's very we're told that pretty much, and it's stated very heavily. So, maybe they take like a twist in what they did with Rizu's character. If you remember back when Rizu was having her main development, and she was kind of feeling like nobody liked her, what did they do? They created a test. So Narayuki could set one last final test for Furuhashi, in where he leaves hints/statements saying that he loves her, thus giving us, the audience, reactions of both characters when she finally realizes it, and realizes what the test is all about. This would also, again, tie into the romantic aspect of this route. Furuhashi is a storyteller. She's great with words, and that's why her route is being more romantic of that kind of aspect and that kind of theme. So I think this would be really fun, and again, it'd be quite smart on Yuiga's character. So maybe they do that. Anyway, those are just two things that I personally would like to happen. Whether or not they do, we have to wait and see. However, and again, I think we are reaching some sort of climax to this route. And one little tiny detail that you may not have picked up, that I think might play a very small role in the climax. I don't know how it's going to. I can give you my thoughts on how I'd like it to impact. But that, of course, being Furuhashi's phone being broken. This, of course, could lead to something very interesting. Because what if Narayuki needs to get hold of her to tell her feelings, and it's an emergency or it's a rush or something, and she can't be contacted because her phone's broken? So, why not go with this scenario? Narayuki finally realizes he gets the courage he needs to. He runs to Fumino, even though she has already stated that her and her dad are leaving for another country or something, just because, she needs to get away. She needs to study, or she's had like an apprenticeship somewhere else. Who knows? And then they go to the train station. He's running towards her. The train that she's meant to be on leaves. And before it kind of gets to the last cut, he's there going, no, I failed. I didn't tell her that I really like her. I have all these feelings for her. I wish I could have done this, this, and this. We see the last train go, and it's just her. Obviously, he couldn't phone her to kind of stop her from going, but for some reason she decided not to step on the train. You just see a dad just kind of looking at... That would be funny. You just see a dad just looking out one of the windows, like, giving Yuiga, like, the stare. And then, like, she's just on the platform. I think that'd be pretty funny. I'm laughing already. Please let that happen. Please. Overall, though, I think this chapter was a great chapter. It was good from a steady build and good character kind of progression for our main protagonist. The art style was as beautiful as ever. And I really did like... you know, the way that the things flowed and the kind of overall vibe the chapter brought. I wish I could have seen more of Azumi though, but at least the comedy was fun and quirky, and the digs at Kurisu towards the end, the beginning, sorry, I thought were quite funny, but ouch, it did hurt. And yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this this kind of video, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that like button. Each like on this video will give Naruyuki more confidence to express himself to his love interest. I don't know if that actually works, but try it. See how it goes. And as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you think of this chapter. If you're new, subscribe to the Anime Zelia, or to this channel, however you want to call it. And I'll speak to you next time. Have a great day. Alligator, matane, and goodbye.